I don't actually seek war and destruction and sadness. I go after the resilience and these crazy stories of just overcoming all these difficult obstacles. I'm Anelise Borges, an international correspondent for Euronews, and this is Women Beyond Borders on Euronews Travel. I am an international correspondent, so that means I travel a lot and I tend to go to conflict zones, crisis-stricken places, difficult areas really, where I get to witness what's happening and then report to the world. And it's taken me to some extraordinary places. I have been to Afghanistan, and Afghanistan is a place that grew very dear to me. I am fascinated by what I saw there, the resilience of people, the amount of suffering and difficulties that they have gone through, and the resilience, just the sheer strength that they display to carry on with life despite all the obstacles that are put on their way. I met some extraordinary women who are now currently fighting for their rights, trying to make sure that they don't lose the rights that they gained over the last 20 years of US presence in the country, and of course in view of the current context with the Taliban. The situation for them is unclear. In terms of an advice that I would give to people looking to get into this kind of work is learn different languages. It helps enormously when you can communicate with people and when you can understand what they're saying. Obviously, you're not going to be able to learn all the languages, but try and take an interest, because it really does help. Be kind and be respectful, and then go after it. Listen to the stories around you. You don't need to go to a war-torn country to come across some extraordinary people. Chances are the cashier in your supermarket or the guy that delivers your meal through Uber Eats is actually an incredible source of information and of stories. Don't ever dismiss that. Don't ever dismiss the people around you. In terms of being a woman in the field, I travel alone a lot, and sometimes when I land somewhere, and if I don't speak the language and I'm looking for someone to help me translate, for example, people tend to ask, "Where's your cameraman?" And I go, "She's here. I work by myself. I film and I edit my own stories," and people tend to go, "Wait, that's a lot of work," or "That's dangerous." But I think, sometimes it can help, because people can be more welcoming to you. I think women inspire trust, and that has helped me a lot throughout the years. People have been more prone to welcome me to their homes, for example, and share with me some of the difficult stories that they had. I've also experienced that in countries that are more segregated. It helps being a woman, because I tend to get away with talking to the men because I'm foreigner and they kind of have to deal with me if they want to talk to international media, all the while getting access to the women in these parts of the world, as opposed to a male reporter that doesn't get to go in and talk to the women. In terms of the scariest moment for me, I was on one of the streets that led to Tahrir Square, trying to get to the barrier that the police put up, and we heard these, at the time I didn't know what they were, just this very sharp and high-pitched sound going very, very quickly, going right next to me. I was working with a cameraman, Karim, and he got just terrified, and he pushed me to the ground. And I had no idea. There was like also a lot of shouting. I learned later, we heard that there were snipers all over that area, and that they were firing real bullets. The space between what I'm doing now and the end of my story was perhaps this. I don't necessarily think about all the risks before I take any assignment. I feel as though most of the time, 99% of the time, the story is always much more dangerous for the people that are stuck in that story. So for the Egyptians that were there fighting for change and democracy and freedom and all those ideals that they said they wanted right in their country, I feel as though they were the ones that were truly risking something. I was there because I wanted to be there. I chose to be there, and I could leave whenever I wanted. And that's normally the case for us journalists. So we can never equal the dangers that we face with the dangers that people that are actually stuck in the story, that stuck in the country. I believe that traveling is essential to understand the other, and through that understand ourselves, because even though I used to be very proud of being able to be alone, I recently spoken to a very wise person that I met in my travels who said, well, it's easier being alone because nobody's contradicting you. You are always right when you're alone. So it's actually when you're confronted with people that are different than you, then you're truly learning. Then you're truly seeing other things. And I think that is part of life, is essential for life, to learn, to grow. Otherwise you're stuck, and that's no way of living.